Hello and welcome everyone. Here we are. We're here to discuss the ban restricted list or update from yesterday. So I'm sure everyone's probably already seen it. Everyone's probably already excited about it. But anyway, we're gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna start with vintage, and we're gonna work our way up to standard, and just gonna talk about my feelings, my thoughts, and give what I hope to see for upcoming ones. Also, notably, Pioneer Ban Restricted was at a different time, but it had no changes. So I'm not going to talk about it beyond that or until we get to like the things I hope for moving forward, because there wasn't any changes. So first of all, vintage Narset Parter of the Veil is restricted, which is not too surprising. Karn was restricted just a couple of ban and restricted lists ago. Narset kind of in the same fashion was just absolutely absurd. Like, not only can you stop your opponent drawing extra cards, but you're also getting to basically pick up one new card for 2 turns out of the top 4. It's pretty powerful. Of course, in Vintage, you have a lot of stuff like Ancestral Recall, Recall. You have your Brainstorms, you have your Ponders, you have Dak Faden. Plus, the interaction between Narset and Dak Faden was pretty insane. You also had the what's it called? The Time Twister. If you have Narset in the battlefield in Time Twister, your opponent loses their hand. It gets 1 card and you get a bunch. It's really powerful. But it just kind of makes a lot of the things that you do in Vintage, I guess it restricts them. Which, it's Vintage, so I think to some extent it's fine, but I think Narset may have been too much. I can understand that. Narset is a very powerful Planeswalker. Legacy Ren and 6 is banned for a long time. Since Ren and 6's printing, it made playing any deck with a bunch of X1s just not feel great. It's done the same thing in Modern, and the fact they banned it in Legacy, obviously it's much more popular. The Delver list that played it is much more prevalent. You got your Rug Delver, your 4-color Delver, your 4-color Control. These decks are much more prevalent in Legacy than obviously Jund is in Standard. Not Standard, in Modern. Well, then Jund is in Standard too, but that's not the point. Than Jund playing Ren and 6 in Modern is. And plus, Jund in Modern isn't like taking home 50 to 60% of every major event of 5-0s. It's not doing all that. So, with that being said, I can understand banning Ren and 6. It restricts gameplay. Also, it in combination with Wasteland. Anyone who watched a couple of my Jund videos, Ren and 6 in Ghost Quarter is super messed up against non-basic land decks, like against Tron. Can you imagine Ren and 6 with just Wasteland that says destroy target land? That's crazy. Anyway, so not too surprising for me. He's a very powerful Planeswalker. Definitely a little too powerful. And he made the archetypes that he naturally slots into, I think, a little too strong and consistent. I can definitely say Ren and 6 didn't bother me too much in Legacy, but then again, I didn't really like playing Death and Taxes and decks like that play a ton of X1s. I like playing Grixis, Delver, Grixis Control, things like that, where, I played X1s. I played Baleful Strix. But Baleful Strix dying is okay. We don't mind that much. So, and then Brawl, Oko Thief of Crowns is banned. I think this choice was made like 2 weeks ago. I was pretty sure it was already banned, but I guess they're just officially adding it to the ban and restricted list. Cool. It's whatever. And then Standard. So, big one here, starting with Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer being banned is, I think, great. It's a card that power level wise is way stronger than most of what you're doing in Standard, comparatively. That being said, there are other cards like Teferi that I feel like are similarly abusive that arguably could have gone, but I get it. Green right now is kind of the oops, we made it too strong. I get that, and to be honest, okay, I'll hold off on that for a second. So Veil of Summer being gone is nice because that means our 1-mana cryptic commands out of the format. Then Once Upon a Time definitely made the kind of mana fixing and such. It's not fun to play against. It's really powerful. It's a free spell, and I don't think free spell should be in standard. Like in modern, I think it's a little too powerful still, but not nearly as bad. Pioneer, I could see it going too, but I Once Upon a Time in standard, I think was a mistake. I think it's way too strong. Like if it came in like Modern Horizons 2 or Pioneer Horizons or some set like that was intended to naturally add cards into another format without going through standard, I think Once Upon a Time would have been reasonable. But Once Upon a Time in standard is just a little ridiculous. Like you can keep one land hands in a Once Upon a Time, and almost you always guarantee a second land. You know, I can't tell you how many games I kept 2 lands, Oko, random cards, and Once Upon a Time, and Once Upon a Time found a Goose, played Goose on 1, turn 2 Oko because of Once Upon a Time. So, I like it being gone. It's a powerful card. I don't think it's necessarily like needed to be banned, but I'm glad it's gone. I think it could have been abusive to a very, very extreme point. And finally, Oko Thief of Crowns is banned. Should be no surprise to anybody. Oko is just by far the best Planeswalker in standard, and definitely best Planeswalker printed in the last 10 years, or however long it's been since Chase the Mind Sculptor was printed. But I'd still say he's the best Planeswalker ever. He's super powerful, super abusive. You know, he acts as a removal spell. He acts as life gain. You can take your opponent's cards. Oko is just miserable to play against. Plus, his loyalty goes up so high on his first activation. Like, you can make your own creatures. Like, it's just abusive. I expect he's going to go in other formats, too. Like, I expect Pioneer. Oko's going to eventually go. I expect Once Upon a Time eventually is going to go. I expect both those cards are eventually going to go in Pioneer. Now, beyond that, I don't think they're going to go in any other format besides those. You know, I guess I could see it going in Modern too, but I also just don't think it will. I think it's fine in Modern. I think Modern can afford some more powerful cards. So, also, yeah, as far as things I am happy about in Pioneer, I'm happy with no bans in Pioneer. I don't think we need any more bans in Standard. Quite frankly, I was a little surprised last week with Veil of Summer's banning, but at the same time, like, okay, whatever. Like, who cares? Kind of was hoping, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Once Upon a Time banned in Pioneer. I think it's a card that needs to go. For the same reason Oath of Nissa, or well, similar reasons, because my biggest reason with Oath of Nissa was obviously getting Planeswalkers and being able to cast Planeswalkers for whatever color mana. Honestly, I think this is a good ban in Restricted list. I would have liked to have seen Modern have some changes. It's just miserable playing against Urza, the Urza decks. I don't know what you ban, but I think you start with Mox Opal and go from there. And for all the people out there that think Mox Opal is fine in the format, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think that's the best place to start that doesn't just attempt to completely deconstruct the entire deck. You know, like you take out Urza and you deconstruct a lot of the deck almost solidly. You know, so there's that. I also would have liked to see some unbannings. We got Stoneforge Mystic, and I mean, I'm not expecting us to get unbannings very often, but there are a lot of cards on that Modern ban list that absolutely are ridiculous to be on there. They're so bad to be on there. Like, there's no point. Just let them off, you know? Don't get me wrong, there's some cards that I think are too dangerous, but they took a risk with Golgari Grave Troll. They came off the ban in the restricted list, and then they had to ban it again. Okay, do that. You know, unban a couple cards. If they're too strong, put him back on the ban list. Look at Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic was a lot of fun, a really good card, nice to have access to it, but by no means is it too good for the format. So, anyway, I'm happy with the bans we got. I would have liked to have seen changes in Modern, even if it's just unbannings in Modern. Yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, go and hit the subscribe button. I do one of these usually every time we have a update with meaningful cards. I didn't do one last week for Veil of Summer, and I won't do one every week for Pioneer. I'm only going to do one for Pioneer when a change comes that I think is worth talking about in any length. So, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'm going to put the link to this in the description. That way you guys can come check it out. And yeah, you guys can read the specifics on why certain cards were banned. Yep. All right. I will catch you guys later.